Welcome back. This video is about replacing my clutch because I saw a video on the spring plate disintegrating and I thought this has done 25,000 miles, so it's getting around about that time where supposedly they go. I don't know what percentage go, but having seen the video and then several others afterwards, it was a sort of thing that I couldn't not know. So I thought, well, be on the safe side because I'd regret it if I didn't do it, and change the clutch. So I looked into it quite carefully, and these are the varieties that I looked at, and I plummeted in the end. I was going to do the spring plate, the Ultra spring plate, and then I thought, well, just get rid of the spring plate, eliminate it. And the Barnett extra plate clutch kit was more expensive than the Screamin Eagle clutch kit, so I plummeted to get the Screamin Eagle clutch kit. So this is what the video is all about, is replacing that. So I'll start off by draining the oil. And the drain plug doesn't look too bad. A little bit of stuff on it, hardly anything. And take the foot peg off. And I've already got the inspection cover off. Then the gear lever. And I'll put a little mark there so I know where to put it back on. I just had to prise that open a little bit with a screwdriver. Maybe I'll take that out. Maybe I have to take that out because it's got a slot in it. Easy peasy. So there's a slot there. So you've got to take the whole bolt out. Let's loosen the clutch cable. Half inch, 9/16. Right, that's that loosened off. Then it's the derby cover. Again, I've always got spare torque screws because they mince up so easily, and it's a real pain if you then done that and you've got to wait for new ones to come. So I always carry spare ones of these as well. And I'll just hold that for the last one because there's that spring in there. There. I've got a new O-ring, so I'll replace that because that's gone past its sell by date. Take that out. Now I screw this clockwise and that comes out. And then this lifts out and twists 90 degrees and that lifts off from there. And then you just got to be careful that that little bit there doesn't fall anywhere. So like bearings like that. Feels alright. We can loosen up the clutch cable. And that's got an O-ring that needs replacing, and I think that comes with a gasket set. That's that out. Again, that's got a new one. Then I've got to release the primary chain tensioner. So just wind that all the way down. And then undo the screws holding the cover on. So I'm going to do it in the reverse order to tightening. 16, 15, 10, 5, 4, 1. Good. So they're all loose. I don't think it matters now what I do it in, but I might as well go about it in the same way. And then I've got this with my number on. I know where they go. So that's 8, 9, 10. Whoops. So that's all my bolts in the order that they go on, tighten up in. Okay, I don't think I've forgotten anything, so there we go. Put a bit of oil on there. I think that last one was the dust seal. That one now came off quite easily. I think this is the. Yeah, it's all right. Seems a bit reluctant to come off. I don't think I'm doing anything stupid. Not tied up on the chain or anything. Hey, there we go. Next thing's to remove the gasket. This is actually coming off quite easily. Being careful not to lose my pins here. Location tabs. That is so much easier than I had anticipated. And a nice clean surface as well. Very happy with that. To take the clutch out, first of all we've got to release the tension on the spring. So I've got a tool for that. I've just got to screw that all the way down. This clutch adjustment screw bearing, which standard one is a deep groove one, I've replaced that with a Anglia contact bearing, which takes actual loads a bit better. I'll put a link for that in the end of this video. Just hold that still. Don't do it like that, maybe. There we go. So now clip it. So I think the trick is to get that out of the way and get that back plate out of the way. That's it, and then that should be able to move over it. Hey. There we go. Gonna release a bit of pressure on that plate now. There it goes. And there we go, that's out. And then I just want to release that pressure on the plate. There we go. That's the L-shaped bit. And there's the spring. So I'll just leave that. I'll just keep all that together. And I'll just take the plates out. They don't look too bad. And there. Here's the spring plate. which is what this whole operation's been about. Boy, am I glad I've done that. Look at that, eh? Bloody rivets have come out. I am really pleased with that. So that's gone completely. God, I am so pleased I decided to do that. 23,000 miles this is. Look at that, just about getting ready to go. Nice one. I've seen other people do this and I thought, what's the problem? Just take them out. And it's actually quite fiddly. Come on, you little bugger. There you go. That was a bit of brass just fell down. So I can see some ridging here. I can just feel that. So I'm going to have to file all these down a little bit, not much. So I reckon I got that absolutely just in time. That was failing, without a doubt. You just feel a bit, not a lot, just a bit, and a bit of brass fell out that I probably not easily going to find. So looking at that, one head has failed, which is there, and I just saw that drop out. So that's come adrift there, and that was on that head that came out, and the whole thing is a bit, yeah, oh, that was just so crumbs. I'm just so pleased that I did what I did. I was worried about the money it was costing and whether or not it was worth it, because I'd seen videos of these rivets all over the bottom plate. But oh, so pleased I've done that. Right, I'll clean that up. Might film that while I'm doing it, or a little bit of it. Okay, well I can't film all of this because it's going to be so boring, but I'm going to be cleaning all of that up. So I'll put some magnets on the file, and I'm hoping that collects the filings. So I'm just very carefully, and it's only on one side, the grooves are only on one side, so I'm very carefully filing them down. Then I've taken the spark plugs out and I'm just moving it around a little bit at a time. I think it's going to be alright as long as I take it easy and take it slow. So I'll carry on and let you see it when I've finished. Yep, I reckon I'm going to call that a day. These slide in quite nicely now. So there's not a problem. So in and out, so I think that's done. So this is the clutch kit I'm using. Screamin Eagle 38002/04, and it's been soaking overnight in the Formula Plus primary oil. So I just give that a final clean. So I start with a friction plate. Then a steel. Then a friction. Then a steel, and so on till the end. Then the final friction. The new clutch spring, then the retaining thing, the clutch circlip, hey. Feels like you need about 5 hands for this. Right, I think that's in. Yeah, that's sliding. That's sliding. Yeah, that's in. Happy with that. And then just slowly release the pressure. There we go. Whew. Okay, so I'll put a link to the video of me replacing this adjustment screw bearing to a angular contact bearing from the standard deep groove, and I might link the cleaning of the basket, the clutch shell up as well. So that is that. Okay, so I fitted the drain plug and the shoe with the lip facing the casing. So now I'm just going to fit the new gear shift seal in, just putting a bit of rubber grease around there. That just pushes in nicely. Bit of rubber grease around there, and then I'm going to put a bit of grease around there as well, just to ease it on, and then making sure all the surfaces are clean. Pop the new gasket on, lining up with these lugs. And then just when you stick it on, make sure that the chain goes over the adjusting thing. So just got to hold that up a little bit. Here we go. And then I'm just temporarily going to put one in, because I've got to go around and Loctite all these. So I'm just putting one in for now. Fit the dust seal. And then a little bit of thread lock on all of them, all the way around. And then they're tightened up to 11.3 to 13.5 Newton meters, so I'll be doing these at 14. Okay, now for the clutch cable. So that's got a new O-ring on it. And this tightens up to 4.1 to 6.8 Newton meters. Alright, then we attach that with the rounded bit inboard and the lug outboard, being ever so careful not to drop it, and then slot that on and pop that in there, and then holding the screw, pop that in till you can, till it seats there, and then you can, and then just until you feel resistance, so that's about there, and then a quarter of a turn, it's there. And pop this back in. Okay, new oil in, and that's got to be level with the bottom of the clutch diaphragm spring, which I find quite difficult to sort of tell. A tiny bit more. It's a crappy way of doing it, isn't it? And then I've got a new O-ring, I suppose, and then stick the cover back on. I'll get one in for now. And these are torqued up in a cross pattern 9.5, I think, 9.5 to 12.2, so I'm doing these at 11. Right, now to adjust the primary chain. Okay, I've done a video on how to adjust this, but as far as I can tell, that's about ½ inch of travel, so I'm going to call that quits. Just hold the adjusting screw with an Allen key and tighten up the lock nut. So I've done that. Now let's replace the new gasket. That came with the gasket kit. I'll just snug those up. Gear shift back on. I've lost my mark, but I think it was probably about there. That one down maybe. No, I think that's about right. A little bit of copper slip just to help things along. Now the clutch cable adjustment. Now I've made a video of this, but you just adjust this until there's a 1.6 to 3.2mm gap up here. That looks about right for now. And I think finally the foot pegs. Job's a good one. Right, well, thanks for watching. Bit long, but I wanted to show some of the difficulties I had with the clutch retaining ring and things like that. So a lot of videos I've seen, they just show the ring and bang, it's in. Well, I didn't find it was like that. I found it was a bit of a pain in the arse. So I thought I'd include that, because when I came to it, I thought, well, I thought this was easy. And I didn't find it so. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you get something from it. And I'll put links to the clutch adjustment screw bearing upgrade and also the cleaning of the clutch shell in at the end of this. So ride safe, catch you next time. Cheerio.